Hi everyone, this is Chico Hospital for Cats podcast, and one more time, this is your host, Samit Kaplan, and I'm here today with my friend and co-worker, Bre, and also our precious Dr. Vekman. Hi guys.
Hi Sam.
Hello, Samit.
Hey guys, so the reason why I especially wanted to have you two on this episode is because you two are doing something amazing that I have never done with my cats, and that is the Stroller Club of Chico, I should say. And a part of our enrichment series here that we're doing with this podcast and overall in the hospital is also, spending quality time with your cat outside, but still doing it in a safe way. Just like we mentioned the harness and leash walking in the past, or possibly catio. In the future, we will talk about that more. And part of that is a stroller club, because believe me or not, dear listeners, when I looked it up, there is actually a lot of people out there doing this stroller crazy exercise or outside time with their cats. So long story short, I want to know how you two came up with this idea and what your where this idea came from. How did you guys, two of you, start this?
Now that you asked directly, I'm not exactly sure how it totally manifested itself. I remember because neither one of us had a stroller.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think we were trying to talk about how we should go exercise outside more. And I said the only way you can get me at exercise is if
my cat comes with me.
And then I went ahead and got a stroller, and she hesitated. And I was like, I can't go on a stroller walk by myself because that would be just silly.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. So you said you went out there and got a stroller. Did you just randomly pick one, or did you watch for certain type of stroller? Did you have a specific budget in your mind? How did that happen?
I hadn't heard much about stroller walking kitties prior either. So, I did a little research. I did a little Googling, seeing kind of what was actually available out there. Because I almost thought that I was going to have to get a baby stroller. I didn't really realize there was specific cat strollers.
Yeah.
Stylish ones.
Yes. Colors, different sizes, shapes.
And they're called the pet strollers, right? Instead of the baby strollers.
I just look under cat strollers. And,
Oh, okay.
It'll pop up with the 50 best ones listed. And
Did you get it online or locally?
I did. I got mine from Chewie.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was about $50.
Yeah.
Totally doable.
Yeah, it was. And it's actually really cool because it can fold up. So it's really compact. You can fit it in your car, your trunk. You can just kind of lean it against the wall in the house. So
Is it easy to fold it unfold, or is it something that you had to struggle the first few times?
first few times.
Yeah. We helped each other.
But after you know what you're doing, it's not too bad at all. So.
Well, how about you, Doctor? Did you have a stroller, or did you
I got
buy
very
it?
excited because I have 7 cats and I thought all of them would want to come with me. So I got excited and bought a double wide stroller.
No way.
And you take 2 cats all at the same time.
Is it divided from the middle, or are they actually together in
It's
it?
divided in the middle and they've got a pretty good amount of space.
And do they see each other through that divided section?
No.
Okay.
No, just there's a solid divider.
Does yours fold and unfold as well?
Yeah,
Wow.
it fits in my little small car.
And how much did you invest in it?
I think it was about $75 for the double wide.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
not
it
bad.
wasn't. Yeah, I think I got it from either Chewie or Amazon.
Yeah.
So you guys just, Bre just said, I'm going to buy the stroller and find somebody else to join me. And then you guys decided to, pick a date and go out there. And what happened?
Yeah.
How does this work? Do you put your kitty in a carrier and go with the stroller in the trunk there? Or how does this work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think we talked about, because we have so many pretty parks here in Bidwell Park, we're like, oh, that's the perfect spot because it's not up a lot of hills or anything. And we end up going for at least an hour to 2 hours sometimes. But you want to talk about getting them in and out?
We would always advise going in the carrier on your way there because I've heard of stories, believe it or not, where kitties, they can touch that, your little electric windows, and then all of a sudden the window's down. We actually had a client who had that happen where the cat jumped out the window doing, always transport your cat in a carrier. It's the safest way. Then once you get there, have your cat on a harness and leash. So when you transfer from the carrier to your stroller, you have an alternate way to hold on to him or her if they decide they're getting spooked, they hear a loud noise, or like you said, it's their first time doing this. So it can be a little scary.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys went there safely, put your kitties in the strollers, and you started walking. And what was the reaction of your cats? And first of all, Doctor, you say you have 7 cats. How did you pick which cat or which 2 of them are going that day?
I thought that all of them would want to go. I think that they had different opinions. I picked the ones that are okay during car travels and that are just a little bit more relaxed.
And you have a couple who like being on your patio too.
Yeah, I have a couple on the patio that like to be going outside, and that's why I really wanted them to be able to go outside more, but be protected. So the first time I picked Amos, because he loves being outside, and I thought that would be a good way for him. And he's overweight, so walking him is really hard on him right now. And I picked my 19-year-old because she can't hear anything, so I thought that would be exciting for her.
Yeah, at least see have fresh air and watch the birds.
Just to spoil her a little bit.
And what's the reaction? What was the reaction?
I have to be honest, the first trip was a little terrifying for them.
Really?
Yeah. I think they actually did pretty well.
I think Pumpkin did better than Amos when I thought it would be vice versa.
Yeah, and I think it might be because she couldn't hear anything, probably. But they actually, I think it was more terrifying for me. I think that they enjoyed that first trip because we walked like a good 2 hours. Yeah, and sometimes we would stop and let them out with like the leashes and let them walk around a little bit.
Oh, that's a great tip for people. Then you can do the stroller, and when it's like quieter, maybe around and not so many people, you can just a little bit leash walking.
Yeah, we would sit down on the bench, and then they would come out of the stroller. But it was a little bouncy, I think, for my 19-year-old, and I forgot this is a big tip. I forgot to put the pad down because I just bought the stroller. So at the end of the walk, I said I had 2 pads in Amos's side and no pad on Pumpkin's side. So I think it was a little bit more bumpier for her.
Yeah, so one of the questions I was going to ask, and how you guys deal with them if they have to go,
Sam brought this up to me earlier, and like I've never had that issue with my cat so far. I mean,
I had to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, they're just looking for signs, like maybe they're scratching or they're like, if your cat has a distinct behavior. But even when I let my kitties like in the yard on the leash at my house, they don't use the bathroom outside.
Yeah.
So I think it's just dependent on your cat.
I think the adrenaline kicks in and they forget that they have to go to the bathroom.
Too much other things to look at.
Too much fight and flight syndrome.
Yeah, stimulation.
Yeah.
Bre, do you want to talk a little bit about what you found on the internet that kind of like shocked us as far as the clubs that we found online, that stroller people all around states?
So, everyone around here thinks we're in the minority with the Stroller Club. So for this podcast, I did a little research to see what else was going on out there. And there's actually a Facebook page called North American Stroller Club. And it's got like 150 followers.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
And they post a lot of really cute videos. It's not always in strollers, but it's cats like outdoors on leashes in safe environments and just kind of exploring and enjoying the outdoors. So it's actually, if you're curious, just, it's a good place to view videos and kind of see what the benefits can be.
Yeah. And then did you see people like choosing different types of strollers, or did they all mostly have what you have?
A lot of them have the single ones. I mean, there's not a huge differentiation I could see like visually when I kind of look through them and research them. There is price to, what you're looking for, because they can range pretty high. Like you can get like upgrades, like fancy strollers. You can get large. I actually read one where the gentleman said he had a cat that fit 4 of his cats comfortably. So
no way.
They all went together?
It sounds kind of crazy. I think that might be a little much to handle for
I think when I looked it up, you can go as up as $250 or $300 strollers, I believe.
Yeah, that's like humans, human babies. You can get kind of bells and whistles on them, and that adds up.
I want to share what I found on that same page of that club, that one cat, this is on YouTube, it's a YouTube star, one cat for birthday, his present was to get into a stroller and go to the Buckingham Palace and watch the soldiers like changing their duty and exchanging weapons and stuff. And it's this whole thing is on YouTube, this cat watching. He put the person put a camera inside the stroller where the cat sits. So with the cat's view, you see everything happening. I have to say that was pretty special, going to a palace as a cat in a stroller. Can you tell us about the benefits? Because I've seen that you, when you were researching, you talked about disabled people or disabled cats even. Can you talk about benefits, why this might be the good idea for people to do this?
Well, one of the ones I didn't immediately think of was for kitties with disabilities. So like sometimes as they get older and they have joint issues or arthritis, or even perhaps if they're paralyzed, it's a really safe way to have your cats get that outdoor stimulation, experience the fresh air and the sights and the sounds. They also mentioned humans with disabilities. So, if you have, a dog's a lot larger than a cat, but if a cat sees something and gets spooked or, tries to bolt and that person has a difficult time walking or with balance, that could cause them an injury. So having that stroller to push along, keeps it at a steady pace and keeps both people involved safe.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip because a leash and harness might not be for everyone, but stroller might work way much better for certain people.
Yeah, most of my cats freeze up when I put harnesses on them, so the stroller I thought was a better option for them.
Yeah, we keep saying this on episodes, like you have to keep trying and find the right thing for the right cat, because some of them love the harness and some of them totally freeze, like you mentioned, and some of them really might like this stroller idea and want to be a part of your club, and some of them might not be interested at all and try to get out. Speaking of that, how safe are these strollers if the cat has a moment of panic and wants to claw and get out?
When I was researching to buy my own stroller, I did come across some of that in the reviews because they do look very similar. So I was reading through reviews to see what people, had to say about them. And some of them were where zippers would meet, or kind of how the stroller was crafted. There were little small holes, and they're like, my cat managed to pop its head out.
Oh, wow.
So that's just something to be wary of. The one I have, and I think the one Dr. Vekman has too, has an actual spot where you can hook up a leash. So if you put your cat on a harness and a leash, you can clip it inside. So if they were to manage to get out somehow, they would still be attached to the carrier.
I love that.
Yeah. You open up your carrier, so...
Stevie he's not brave enough. He wasn't brave enough to get out in the park like Amos was, but I could open it up halfway, kind of like a baby stroller, and he can just sit in there and see everything. So he didn't have to get out, but he was exposed to the environment. He didn't have that mesh barrier.
What is going to happen with your club? Do you think it's going to grow? I
keep asking clients to join, so I think we have 2 or 3.
2 or 3 that pending?
In addition to the 3 of us with Dr. Waller.
Yeah, and Star, one of our other coworkers, was talking about getting her little baby Blacky to maybe join, because as a baby, he rode in one of those little backpacks.
Oh, yeah.
With a little bubble. But he's getting a little big for that nowadays.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And we don't discriminate. You can bring backpacks to backpack cats. It doesn't have to always be strollers.
It doesn't have to be strollers.
Nope.
It's a walk in the park.
Stroller and a backpack club.
I like that. Yeah. What about getting your cats ready and familiar with this stroller idea? Do you guys have any suggestions? Do you use it at home, or do you let them interact with it first? What's the key here to get them introduced to this?
Well, like anything you're introducing your cat to, as we previously talked about in other episodes with the harness and the leash, just introducing things slowly is the most important. You don't need to force anything on your cat because, we all know, cats aren't going to do what they don't want to, and not all cats are comfortable with that sort of thing. So you can, I kind of think of it like a carrier. You want to leave it in your house so the cats can kind of sniff around it, get used to it being there, inspect it. Yeah, you can open it so they could jump inside. You could put some nice blanket in there. My cats like to sleep in it at my house.
No way, really?
Yeah. They take turns sleeping in it if I have it out and it's not folded up. So, and that's also a way for them to get used to. You can even do rides in the house. So it's safer, quieter, no startling noises.
Maybe to start with, you can do it in your backyard if you have a backyard, or your neighborhood or something, and then slowly transition to the park.
That's where I started. We did the neighborhood first, just a little spin around the neighborhood to kind of see who might do well in the park.
That's pretty cool. If you guys don't have anything to add for your stroller club or other suggestions?
No, just if anyone's interested to join us, we usually go on either Saturdays or Sundays for about an hour or 2. You definitely can let us know at the Chico Hospital for Cats if you're interested in joining us.
Yeah, send a message on Facebook and Bre will probably get back to you.
It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs, and I think the cats really enjoy it. Once they get used to it. Some of mine, I said, no, I'm not going to, bring them again. But most of them really, really enjoy
How
it.
long have you guys been doing this?
Maybe
A year?
like 6 months, maybe?
I think we probably started a little bit, maybe coming up on a year, because we
Yeah.
stopped for a little bit because it got so hot here in the
Yeah.
summers, and it was
Yeah.
just
Oh, that's a good.
not comfortable for it.
That's
Yeah,
another good thing to
Yeah,
mention.
you have
I
to be
guess.
careful when it gets too hot out. You have to go really early, otherwise it's too hot for them by the end of the walk.
Yeah. So, or maybe also keep your walks a little bit shorter too, right?
Yeah, like around the neighborhood would work.
They really enjoy it, I think.
Well, not to
think so.
mention it's an
Stevie
excuse
loves it.
for you guys to come together and socialize too. So the cats are also helping you guys. So
Yeah,
I mean,
they're helping us exercise, which is,
Exercise and-
difficult in its own way. So.
well, thank you both for joining us today with this interesting Stroller Club episode.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, guys. So we'll see you guys next time again. We're on chicocats.com/podcast, as well as on Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can subscribe or follow us if you like. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.